Welcome guys to this video that's going to be about the new patch 19 that just hit the test servers. This patch is quite huge because it has some extremely important things such as limb penetration, an extremely good in-game marker system, nice performance improvements, and just some really good quality of life improvements that we're going to go through in a moment here. I will be showing you examples from in-game so you can see exactly how a lot of these functions work in-game. First of all, the game now has a bullet penetration system. That means you can shoot through forearms and hit the body when those arms are covering up the body. Super important because that was extremely frustrating. The most frustrating part of not having limb penetration was actually the hands, but the hands have completely lost their hitbox. They no longer have a hitbox. Let me show you how this works in practice. When testing limb penetration, one thing is very important to notice. The hands no longer have a hitbox. This is really important because the hand damage was ridiculously low, but instead the bullet would go through and hit the player. A lot of damage was issued by this shot because it simply went directly through, even though I was aiming on the hands. You will, however, though, have a similar effect because the arm hitbox start around here, so you can actually hit the arm hitbox like this. So the arms still have this hitbox, and that means, as you can see from the damage, the player did not take a lot of damage. Also, it will penetrate and hit here, so it's just going to penetrate. So if I shoot like this, I'm going to penetrate one arm and pretty much hit the other arm. So you need like these angles, like something like maybe this. Yeah, that did a lot more damage. I still hit the hand. You have no impact on the body, but it did way more damage because instead of penetrating an arm and hitting an arm again, I now penetrated an arm and hit the body. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how this is going to work in practice. And I'm super happy that we have no hand hitbox anymore. This also means that if you have this character that is running, actually, can we do this? If you have this character that is running, gonna control the other computer. Yeah, you see the hands are flapping up like this. So they will no longer potentially block a shot. So that's also really good. Another thing to notice is that forearm penetration is disabled for shotguns, because if they didn't do this, it would have been a crazy buff to shotgun damage. I'm not so sure I agree with this. I think I would love to see how it would be in practice, or simply a reduced penetration for shotguns instead of having none at all, because shotguns can be very frustrating to use. And the bullet penetration is not applied to legs. When exiting a vehicle while pressing the sprint key when boosting, the sprint will now remain engaged, but this means that you don't have to release and press the button again. A nice little thing. If a teammate disconnects but is still alive, other teammates couldn't see the game reward result screen after the teammates died, but now players can check this even if there are disconnected players in their team. If a disconnected teammate reconnects to the game and finishes the game with better results, teammates will receive any additional rewards earned by that player. This is super cool and I really like this change. To prevent abuse, other teammates cannot see the death cam until all players, including the disconnected player, have died. Also, they're removing the stuff from the PGI 2018, which by the way was amazing. And now to a really cool UI improvement, dropping items in stacks. Dropping stacks of ammo has also been improved, so if you drag and drop your item while holding control, then you will get an option to get this slider here. That's really cool. And it defaults to half of a stack, and you just click drop and then you go. Also, if you simply hold Alt while left clicking, you drop it all. And if you hold Alt while right clicking, you drop half. Super cool. Another cool feature is the weapon attachment management that has been greatly improved. Check this out. If you have an inventory that is full and you drop your scope by right clicking, it will drop to the ground immediately instead of saying inventory full. If you have a scope on and you want to swap to another scope, those will simply be replaced again instead of saying inventory full. So removing an attachment, also if you remove a magazine, actually, it drops the ammo and you don't get inventory full. So you have much more freedom when swapping around attachments. We also have an improvement in the UI regards to team management, which allows you to mute teammates. You can now also mute individual teammates by pressing escape, pressing team management, and then mute the player you want to mute. This was actually possible before using an Xbox controller on PC, but now we have the menu on PC on its own. Settings for colorblind has also been improved, something that the community has been asking for a long time. The following colors now change according to the selected colorblind type: scope and reticle colors, blood, and supply crate smoke. I'm not sure about the blood setting, if we might have some blood that will be easier to spot than other blood. I will have to look into this in another video. Also, markers are now numbered. Another help if you're colorblind is also the numbers you can see on the markers, because now the markers not only has a color, but they also have a number. And about markers, there's some extremely cool happening with those, because this is insanely huge. Check this out. If you point at something, hold Alt while right-clicking, this will happen. You mark something, and if another player does the same, it looks like this. So you can actually do super accurate call out. Instead of saying guy left building, 2 buildings from the left, second window, top, you just do this. You just mark it. You said the guy there, you know, guy here, and your enemies will be like, yeah, okay, and I spotted someone here. It's perfect. It is insanely good. And these markers will also be shown on the map like this. They will fade away from the in-game view after a moment, but they will stay on the map like this. So you still have it on the minimap. Insanely good. I'm really looking forward to trying this in practice for duos and for squads. Just so good. Of course, you can change the keybinds for this, but I kind of like having Alt, because you hold down Alt to look around, and that kind of makes good sense for me when marking locations. Like if you're running, you can look to the side very easily and mark a location. I kind of like that. Also, eliminated teammates can now place markers, also a big improvement for duo and squad play. Equipped Weapons HUD now shows slot numbers for improved readability. And the kill feed now displays personal knockouts. When you knock down a player, it will now also be visible to yourself in your own kill feed, like this. Here you see me knocking down a teammate, but this is the same thing when knocking down an enemy. You can now actually see your own knocks. And we also have some cool graphic settings improvements that you can see right here. A lot of things happened in the graphic settings as well, because here you have lobby FPS limit, which might be actually kind of cool, because you don't really need that much FPS in the lobby, and this might reduce the heat your GPU produces. Also, an in-game FPS limit, a smooth frame rate. So this thing should smoothen out your frames if you have a lot of dips in FPS. So if your FPS goes really high and really low, then they should simply smoothen out the stutter. So basically, this seems cool, but I'm not sure if it increases input lag. I will need to look into this further, because you don't want input lag, and often these functions like these will increase input lag. Another feature that is really cool is sharpen. Sharpen will simply sharpen the picture. Without it, it looks like this. And with it, it will look like this. I see a pretty big difference, but I'm not sure it's going to be visible in the video because of the video compression. But anyway, sharpening will give you a clearer image, making it easier to see details, and simply removing this blur effect that a lot of people has been complaining about, especially when using anti-aliasing. But overall, the smoothening effect is an Unreal Engine feature, and it gets kind of technical. So in the patch notes, there's a link for a detailed explanation that might answer some questions you may have. Another thing is that you can now move your mouse cursor to another monitor when in the system menu, world map, or when the inventory is open, if you use multi-monitors. This is, on the first glance, a nice thing, but I'm kind of scared about this, because when fast dragging stuff into your inventory, I really don't like being able to move my mouse out of my own monitor, because I have a monitor on my left side and my right side, so this might cause me to move my mouse way too far. Dynamic weather has also been added to Erangel and Miramar. This is really cool, and I'm super excited about having dynamic weather and simply just weather back in the game on those maps. It will only happen if you have clouds, and sunny weather is still gonna be the most normal thing to have. But in general, I'm super excited about this, and I'm really hyped about also having rain on Miramar. There's a video in the patch notes that explains this in a few details. Erangel has finally also received some improvements. We now have houses added like this, and we also have some coastline improvements. Let's quickly jump into the game and check out this new compound. Erangel has also received some minor improvements, because there are now added a few more clusters of buildings, and one of them looks like this. This is on the military island just before the bridge. And as we see, there are actually pretty decent buildings here. I mean, it's not the perfect place to loot, but you can definitely grab some stuff here. It's also interesting because a place like this will potentially give a really good tactical advantage when people are driving around in this neighborhood. Let's see if we go up here. So yeah, this could be a really sick place to hold, like either way. And it would definitely mean that when you're driving here, you need to be extra careful. So yeah, this is pretty cool actually. I like it. Miramar also received improvements. More dirt roads has been added for better vehicle effectiveness, and certain high slope sections of roads have been lowered to enhance vehicle effectiveness. All in all, to make vehicles more effective on Miramar. Custom Games has also received some new stuff, but I'm not going to go into this in this video. You can just go into the custom game settings and check it out for yourself. Regarding performance, we have a bunch of things that should improve FPS performance and server performance, and I'm really excited about seeing how these things will improve the game performance. But really, all of this stuff, it sounds really good, but I will have to see in game when I start playing if there's less desync, if the server feels better, and or if you have more FPS. A cool thing about the sound is that they decrease the volume of vehicle sounds for players inside vehicles in FPP mode, something that is very welcome, because when playing TPP you're further away from your vehicle and it's much more pleasing to drive the vehicle simply because of the loud volume that you have in FPP. But now you won't have that loud volume, and I just tried it and it feels really good. We also have some bug fixes. Some are big, some are minor. I think the one where a frying pan and a firearm could be held at the same time is very good to have fixed, because this definitely looks silly where someone would like cover their face with a frying pan while still being able to shoot. I of course also like that they fixed an issue that would cause players to get stuck if moving in a small space. But in general, I will say that these bug fixes are cool, but they're not that big, and I'm still looking forward to seeing stuff like, you know, the SMG red dot not being able to be changed, or the red dot changing when you swap around scopes on assault rifles, and perhaps even the zeroing issue with the AKM when you put on a scope and you take it off and the iron sight zeroing goes completely nuts. Stuff like that for me is more important, but I mean, this is good still. I'll take everything. So yeah, in general, this is a really good patch. There's some really cool stuff here, and this is definitely gonna improve the way you play the game. Especially the marking system is huge for people that play in duos or squads, and the bullet penetration system is very welcome and is gonna reduce the amount of frustrating fights that you otherwise have. But yeah, that's it guys. Enjoy the patch. It's on the test servers right now, and it's gonna go to live servers very soon. And if you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more, and I will see you guys next time.